I'm excited to kick off the product management track today. Something happened to the PM career. If you're like me, you became a PM to craft products that customers love. But somewhere along the way, things changed for many of us. Today, pushing metrics, growing headcount, and trying to climb the corporate ladder have overshadowed the joy of building something meaningful. That's why I think it's time that we bring the craft back to product management. To me, PM craft means focusing on delighting customers, caring about the details, and ultimately giving a damn about the product they're delivering to the world. Thank you. So I've been a PM for over a decade, and I've interviewed many top product leaders. Today, I want to share 10 practical tactics to help you craft products that you can be proud of. All right, so let's start with 3 tactics to understand customer and business needs. Something that I really believe in is to build with your customer community. On our product team, PM designers and engineers talk to each other throughout the day. Building with your community means doing the same thing with your customers. So here's how I do it. Set up a community. It can be a Discord, a Slack group, or even just a DM thread. Build in public. Ask customers about their problems and share updates and designs often. And finally, make time to hang out. Don't just talk about your product. Make time to post memes, hang out, build relationships so that customers feel comfortable sharing the honest truth with you. The faster you can go through this feedback loop with your community, I promise you, the faster your product will improve. So at Roblox, I built a community with hundreds of top creators. I talk to them throughout the day just as much as I talk to internal stakeholders, and so does everybody else on my team. The feedback has been incredible. Creators feel heard, spread the word with other creators, and tell Roblox leaders about my product and my team every chance that they get. So build a community to build better products. Focus on your customer instead of our internal shenanigans. And don't let anyone or any process get in the way of talking to your customers every single day. Now, talking to your customers isn't enough. To truly build empathy, you have to feel the customer's pain yourself. So here's how I do it. Watch customers struggle. Ask them to show you how they solve problems and use your product. If you start cringing a little bit, then you're on the right track. Keep a friction log. For the love of God, dog food your own product. I'm surprised by how many PMs don't even do this. And write down all the little points of friction. It's especially important to do this from a new user's perspective. If a new user experiences friction in your product, they're not going to complain. They're just going to leave. And as a result, your product will not grow. And finally, observe how customers are hacking your product to do their job. From my experience, this is one of the best ways to extend your product to an adjacent use case, as we saw from Figma slides yesterday. At Twitch, we noticed that streamers were sending their viewers to another channel at the end of their stream. They would manually copy and paste these links in chat for the community to join the other channel and support the other streamer. So we built raids to make this process more fun and more safe. The product quickly took off and brought joy to thousands of communities. Now, customer empathy is key, but it's also important to take a step back sometimes to look up and around. I love this framework from Shashir, the CEO of Coda, about growing a PM career or any career. When you're just getting started, you're given the problem and solution, and you just have to execute. As you level up, you're given the problem, and you got to identify the right product solution. And at the highest levels, you got to figure out if you're even solving the right customer problem in the first place. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be a VP or a director to think at a higher level right now. I learned this lesson the hard way. At Reddit, I led a team that built Reddit Talk, our live audio product. We scaled Talk to millions of users and hundreds of communities. People love talking about everything from telling dad jokes to sharing relationship advice to hosting AMAs. In year 1, our CEO told me that I had built by far the best user experience at Reddit in years. But a year later, the product was canceled. So what happened? I understood the customer problem, identified how to grow the product, and executed on my plan. But I didn't spend enough time understanding the business problem. The fact is, talk wasn't the best bet to make to grow overall Reddit users, especially after COVID. So next time you're given a product area, take a step back to look up and around. Speak up if you think you're solving the wrong customer problem to bring the company forward. All right, now let's talk about 3 tactics to help you craft the right product solution, starting with strategy equals focus. You know, there's so much nonsense out there about product strategy. It's become a term that people use to sound smart, create slides out of thin air, and gatekeep others for not being strategic enough. I believe that the best strategies explain in plain English a diagnosis of the major challenges, a guiding policy to overcome those challenges, and a set of actions to achieve the policy. Above all else, the best strategies are focused. Let me give you an example. Back in 2011, Roblox users were growing like crazy, but we couldn't figure out the right business model. The team came up with 50 different optimizations to grow revenue, but none of them were really working. Meanwhile, our virtual currency, Robux, was piling up in our creators' wallets. They had millions of Robux, but no easy way to spend them. So that's the diagnosis. Now, one day, someone on the team had a bold idea. Hey, what if we let creators cash out their Robux for real money? It would impact our margins, but maybe it will let creators get paid enough to build Roblox games full-time. So our guiding policy became to drop everything else and focus all of our energy on building a system to let creators exchange their Robux for real-world currency. Amazingly, it worked. Creators got paid and reinvested most of the Robux into improving their games. We knew that we had nailed it when a creator told us, you know, I was making minimum wage making pizzas, but I just cashed out $10,000 for my Robux. So now I'm going to work on my game full-time. Focusing on the right thing is what matters, which brings me to my next tactic. Quality and speed over scope. I got this advice from Dan Soroker, the CEO of Limitless AI and Optimizely. Here's a quick clip from Dan.
I would encourage you to really pick just quality and time. In fact, put a date out there as a clarifying function for you and your team to say, hey, on this date, we are going to have a high quality product and we will make it available to the world. And the thing to be really ruthless in cutting is scope. Especially if you're a smart technologist, you will find all the clever, cool things you could build that probably don't matter. The vast majority of users will probably not use that feature. You're probably wrong that the problem it's trying to solve is even meaningful. And so you're much, much better off starting with something that's very, very bare bones, that's high quality, and building from there, than assuming you need to do all the scope you can imagine from day one.
Let's just take the AI wearable space as an example. You can build a wearable that plays music, makes calls, reads messages, texts pictures, answers questions, and projects a display. Or you can focus on just solving 1 or 2 customer problems really well, like taking pictures, or looking fashionable, or remembering what you say throughout the day. I love this refrain from Frank Slootman, the ex-CEO of Snowflake. Narrow the focus, up the quality, and increase the speed. I repeat, narrow the focus, up the quality, and increase the speed. That's how you build a product that people love. Now, when I'm talking about upping the quality, I'm referring to crafting beautiful products, not beautiful internal documents. We all know PMs who spend all their time making beautiful PRD strategy decks and emails while ignoring the actual product that their customers actually use. Please, 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 don't confuse the work behind the work with the actual work. The actual work is understanding customer problems, identifying the right product solutions, and executing to deliver your product to the market. The work behind the work includes things like making pretty slides, doing premiums to get buy-in, and trying to look smart and get green checks from execs in a product review. Look, I get it. The work behind the work is sometimes necessary, but it shouldn't occupy most of your time. Take Shopify, for example. They have a product review process that's literally called get shit done. And sometimes they get shit done without having a single meeting at all. Here's Meekdad, ex-head of AI at Shopify, talking about how this process works.
This project was a very fast cadence. So what we tried to do was we had a channel with all of our stakeholders in Slack, and a lot of the conversation goes back and forth of here's the work, here's what's happening, and we let them be in on the public channel so like they could just watch the work as it goes, and if they want to interrupt, they can interrupt and ask questions. And then every couple of days we would just make a demo video and just post it in the channel and just ask for feedback. And our VP, especially Glenn, my boss, he makes a friction log, and his friction log is like walking through the video or walking through the product and giving feedback on what he thinks is good or bad. And we usually like turn it around in a couple days. But yeah, it's a very like fast cycle. I don't think there was many, if any, synchronous reviews on this. It was all async as we went.
So by all means, do what you need to do to get leadership buying, but please stay focused on the actual product that your customers actually use. All right, now let's talk about 3 tactics to help you execute. You know, to bring the craft back to product management, you really have to protect your craft time. For many of us, a calendar like this is sadly all too common. Now here's my calendar on a good week. Even for PMs, craft time is a precious resource for just think deeply about problems and actually get shit done. To protect your craft time, become great at asynchronous communication and running better meetings. Simple tactics can make all the difference, like discussing async first instead of defaulting to meetings, or using a single project channel instead of playing DM telephone, or actually taking notes live in a meeting and sharing them right after instead of pretending that the meeting never happened. So next time someone sends you a meeting invite with no agenda and no notes, don't just accept the invite. Ask them, can we discuss async first? Or do you have some notes that I can read first to protect your craft time? You know, all of us, when we were growing up, probably dreams of becoming astronauts, PMs, or data designers. Maybe. But I'm pretty sure that none of us dreamed about sitting in back-to-back meetings all day. So you have to carve out time to actually sync. All right, protecting your craft time goes hand in hand with setting the quality bar. Every company has that 1 or 2 teams that's known for setting the bar on quality. Aspire to be that team at your company. Here's how. Roll out your product in phases. It's almost always a bad idea to launch a product to everyone at once without a single customer using it or playing it beforehand. Instead, make time for staff alphas and customer betas to get feedback and raise the quality bar each time. Hire people who care about quality. Look for signals like when they share their biggest accomplishment, do they mention quality and user delight? Or do they only focus on growing metrics or growing their team headcount? As Josh Miller from the browser company describes, hire people who have a burning desire to leave their mark on something that they make. Look for those hires when you're trying to hire someone. And finally, make quality a team value and make sure and be willing to make the difficult trade-offs to live by that value. For example, if during beta, users and your designer are telling you that your product isn't good enough, be willing to email the exec or your boss and tell them, hey, I'm going to miss the launch date this quarter. I'm going to miss my OKR because I want to make my product truly great. Quality is even more important when it comes to AI products. With AI, your job is not just to define the happy path. You must be paranoid about all the edge cases to avoid suggestions like adding glue to get cheese to stick to pizza. At Roblox, we built an AI assistant to help creators build, grow, and monetize their experiences. Now, building an AI product sounds really cool, but what really mattered was the manual, painstaking effort that we took to evaluate answers. I'm talking about hours, days, and weeks staring at spreadsheets and going crazy, trying to figure out how to improve AI's output. Now, speaking of AI, you should be using AI every day to save time and focus on what matters. Personally, I love using AI tools like Claude and ChatGPT to do 3 things. Extracting takeaways from raw customer interview notes or long Slack threads. That alone probably saves me 30 minutes to an hour every day. Making my writing more clear and concise. With AI, there's no excuse to be too verbose or too wordy in your writing. All you gotta do is like prompt it to say, hey, make this more clear and concise, give me 3 variations, and then take the best of AI's output. And finally, getting a second opinion on everything from product strategy to making difficult trade-offs. If you give AI the right context, you'll be surprised at how helpful it can be. Think of AI as a super helpful intern who for some reason knows everything about the world and will never give up, but you just have to give it clear directions. So speaking of clear directions, here are 5 things I always like to include in my AI prompts. Assign a goal, share examples, proceed step by step, ask for variations, and add constraints. So for example, here I'm asking AI to edit my writing. I broke it down into 2 steps. Step 1, understand and share my writing style back to me based on my best writing examples. I pasted like a whole list. And step 2, I'm gonna give you a draft, and then you edit my writing based on my writing examples. And of course, you wanna create 3 variations that are about a page each. So I would then take AI's output and manually edit my own writing. Try to include all these steps in your prompts to make AI a lot more useful. All right, so let's recap. Here's how we can bring the craft back to product management. First, understand the customer problem by building with your community, feeling the customer's pain yourself, and taking a step back to look up and around to make sure that you're solving the right customer problem to grow the business. Second, identify the right solution by focusing your strategy, prioritizing quality and speed over scope, and crafting beautiful products, not beautiful internal documents. And finally, execute by protecting your craft time, setting the quality bar, and using AI to focus on what matters. Last but not least, remember why you got into this field in the first place. Your end goal is not to hit some OKR, grow your headcount, or check some boxes in a career ladder. Customers don't care about any of that. Your end goal should be to go above and beyond for customers, obsess about the details, and give a damn about the product that you're delivering to the world. Join companies who share these goals and build that culture yourself. That's how we can all bring the craft back to product management and perhaps one day win the respect of our designer colleagues. Thank you so much.